Hey folks, David Stewart here. I'm going to talk about the Rings of Power for one video. And I'm going to emphasize this, which is you need to stop giving your attention to people who hate you. Just like Brian Niemeyer's book, Stop Giving Money to People Who Hate You. Also stop giving attention to people who hate you. The first and best reason is that it's good for you. That frees up your time and energy to go elsewhere. So Amazon paid a lot of money and has spent a lot of money on a series that they're calling the Rings of Power. I don't think you guys need to watch it. In fact, I don't think you should watch it. And I almost don't want to make a video about it because I don't want to give attention to it. I really have a feeling that this is one of those things, kind of like the Wheel of Time series, that will just sort of fall out of public consciousness rather quickly. Tolkien is huge, so there's quite a possibility that it will remain in public consciousness because of like the Last Jedi effect, that it's going to be such a hate letter to Tolkien's work and to his fans that it'll get talked about a lot, but you don't need to hate watch it either. You already know that it's going to suck because it failed the Brown M&M's test, right? They don't care about getting the actual details of the story correct. They don't really care about getting basic details of the source material correct. That's why you have some rather, shall we say, diverse casting decisions in what is essentially European fantasy. You can make your own judgments on that, but I consider it like a failure of the Brown M&M test. Let you know that they're really not going to take the rest of it very seriously at all. You can see, pictures of Galadriel and Elrond that should make you second guess what this series is going to be all about. The day Christopher Tolkien died, they made casting decisions and retooled the show entirely. Another Brown M&M test that should let you know exactly what they think about the source material. This is not going to be a series that real fans of Tolkien are going to like. That has not stopped the more woke people who have taken over, like the Tolkien fan club for years now at this point, from just throwing a fit that people are not immediately eating their cereal over this Amazon Lord of the Rings fan fiction series. It is fan fiction. It's fan fiction on multiple levels. It's not just fan fiction on the level of Tolkien didn't write this stuff, so it's fan fiction, which is pretty basic, or like it's an adaptation, and therefore on some level it's going to be fan fiction with whatever you do with an adaptation. But I mean, it's really stuff he never wrote about, so it takes place in the Second Age. If you don't know like the chronology of Tolkien's universe of Middle Earth and Arda is really like the whole world, because there's also the Undying Lands. There's the ages of stars and the ages of trees, which go on, and then after the trees are destroyed by Melkor, then you have the first age of the sun. That's where most of the Silmarillion takes place. Apparently Amazon did not have the rights to the Silmarillion. Okay, so that's the meat of the lore that Tolkien wrote for the distant past of Middle-earth. And then, of course, there's some in the Silmarillion that deals with the Second Age, the sinking of Numenor, and the history of those people. Apparently they didn't have the rights to the Silmarillion. They probably can't film that either. That's really the most interesting part that leads up to the war, the last alliance of elves and men that takes place in the prelude, the little prologue that exists at the first Lord of the Rings movie. And then the Third Age, of course, is going to be The Hobbit, and The Lord of the Rings is the conclusion of the Third Age of the Sun. So there's the ages of the sun. And then before that, you have like the ages of the trees and the stars. Very cool chronology. I have a lot of love for it. So it takes place in the Second Age, when you have Sauron making the Rings of Power and like deceiving the elves, with the creation of these powerful artifacts and things like that. So because that Second Age is so empty, because it's missing so many details, unlike the Silmarillion, which focuses on that first age of the sun and the prior ages to a lesser extent, it's really just fan fiction. It's just going to be a story that they just pulled out of their rear end. It's just stuff that they're writing. It is not lore. It's not canon. It can never be canon because it's not anything that Tolkien wrote, and it's not anything that he would have preferred to publish when he was alive, like the Silmarillion. And it's not anything that he wrote even about the works, like some of the extra stuff that has come out since then. All of those things are heavily derivative from actual things that Tolkien wrote. They're not crafted out of whole cloth, but this will be. So you're looking at a fan fiction series that they've spent a lot of money on. So do not ever pretend that this is something that is realistic or should ever be taken seriously. This is a fan fiction series, and therefore it's not going to be an adaptation of anything you care about if you're a Tolkien fan. It's just a bunch of people paying a lot of money to put on a fan fiction show and demand to be taken seriously, to pretend that they are somehow part of Tolkien's legacy, when they are not. They are probably going to be pissing on his grave, let's be honest. These are the kinds of people that will completely subvert Tolkien's work. We've seen it before with Star Wars. We've seen it before with pretty much every franchise that Hollywood is able to get its little talons in, is going to try to subvert in some way. It's about dunking on you, you know? If you don't like the casting decisions, if you don't like what they're showing you with like the, kind of generic plate armored Galadriel or something like that, most of this is going to be about dunking on you. It's about the fact that they paid a lot of money to like crap on the one of the foremost voices of fantasy. So just keep that in mind. I don't want to give like infinite attention to this. If I do reviews, you can let me know down in the comments. Do you want me to watch this and do an analysis of it? Being like a big fan of Tolkien and being very influenced by him. In fact, you can read my fantasy books. The newest one is Shadow and Smoke. This is really Gunpowder Fantasy. It's not. If you want more Lord of the Rings kind of stuff, that'd probably be this one, Water of Awakening, which I had a lot of fun writing. I could probably sell some books that way, and so the Machiavellian side of me is like, yeah, I'll watch it and review it, sell a couple books, and it'll be all good. But I really, I'm kind of conflicted about that because I don't want to give attention. I don't want to hype up the show. I don't want people to watch something that craps all over the life's work of somebody who I deeply admire. People who would recast the show the day that Christopher Tolkien died and could no longer tell him no. Let you know pretty much everything you need to know about what's going on, and why it was delayed. It's because they decided to remake the show, really to spite him. So anyway, that's my allegedly that's my, I guess, my conjecture on that. Have a good one, folks. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. And I will see you guys next time. Yeah, just let me know if that's something that you really would want me to try to deliver attention to, because I really would not want to deliver the attention, but I got a feeling a lot of people are going to hate watch it anyway, just like with Wheel of Time. I didn't watch any Wheel of Time past the first episode. The first episode let me know everything I need to know about how they were going to treat the source material. And from a couple people I talked to who watched the entire first season, they're like, oh yeah, it keeps getting worse and worse. But, Shadiversity apparently was making videos on them, and it's like, just like losing faith. Every single episode gets worse than the last one. It's like, you could have seen that from the first episode. You saw the seeds there. You just kind of, maybe you hoped that they would turn it around. It's the Brown M&M test. They changed a bunch of things for no reason, like making Perrin married and stuff like that. Well, why did they do all that? Well, it's because they don't actually respect the source material at all. They don't care about it at all. It's just a vehicle for them to make a show. That's it. And most of them are arrogant as far as their creativity and are not interested in adapting. They're interested in, doing their own ideas. That's it. And then just do remember that a lot of these things are really about dunking on you. So have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time.